Let's take a deeper look at MirageXR and how we can create content with it. When you start the application, you will land on the home screen, where you get an activity list displaying the activities that are available to you, the learning experiences that are available on the server. The other buttons here bring you deeper in. Once you have opened a learning experience and it is loaded, the step button will automatically be selected, where you can navigate back and forth, or the task list button will bring up the complete list of action steps that you need to go through in this learning activity. On top of the screen you will find the settings where you can change the URL of the Moodle instance, for example, or the user authentication button where you can log in. Furthermore, there are search facilities. It allows you to download or remove through the trash icon from the device a learning experience. So fetch it from the cloud, fetch it from the server, download it on your device so it can be executed. Or the big plus button at the bottom that allows you to create a new experience. Once we are in an experience, the user interface concepts are as follows. If you look down, you can see a glowing circle around where you stand on the floor. This we call an aura. The aura connects always with floor lines to where the action happens, so you don't get lost. The task station has a diamond floating in space, anchored, and that is the origin where all the augmentations in the current action step are attached. The task card in the world space UI floating to the left of the diamond. In the mobile UI, you bring it up by clicking the up arrow on the step card. That's providing you with further instruction of what you currently need to do in this step. Steps in MirageXR follow the idea of activities that in each step bring up or delete different augmentations, one step after the other. For example, if you look here at 3 different task station diamonds that may even be spaced out side by side, as you see here. In step 1, we would, for example, activate 2 augmentations, A and B, maybe an image, maybe an audio. The audio would be removed at the end of step 1 when a trigger moves us forward to step 2. This trigger can be as simple as pushing the forward button on the action step navigator, but it can also be in the HoloLens a voice trigger where you say next, or it could be a detect trigger where you see something for a specific duration. The image could stay to the second action step. We call this it could carry over. In the mobile UI, you define this by setting from and to anchor points. This way we can create quite complicated learning activities where augmentations come up and die in each of the steps. This is an example of the gaze trigger, where you can see that this label, look here, has a gaze trigger that allows us to activate and move forward to the next action step. Calibration. Calibration is important to make sure activities work precisely on the real-world objects. For example, here top right, when you look at an airplane for a maintenance training in an airplane hangar, then of course this airplane is parked every time differently by the pilot and maybe serviced in multiple locations across the globe. The plane type would always be the same. Therefore, you stick a calibration marker in the defined location of the activity, and that then makes sure that all other task stations and their augmentation locations are relative in the right place where they belong. When authoring things, you calibrate to make sure that you attach content relative to this calibration marker. And the content can be manifold. At the moment, there are 14 types of augmentation supported, 13 on the mobile platform. For example, we have image, video, and audio, pretty much self-explanatory, although all three of them can have a location in space. The audio can come from a specific location, as well as the image or video can be hung up somewhere where the user can see them well. The ghost records torso and hand movement of an expert, as well as their voice, using kind of a think aloud protocol, and that allows us to create very quickly very engaging instruction. Labels are rather simple annotations in 3D space, but can also be used to create choices and allow people to jump between action steps depending on which label they look at and what they want to focus on first. Actions provide a visual vocabulary, animations, little symbols for handling a movement. Visual effects bring up a range of fancy Hollywood effects that allow us to highlight something. Models are an interface to Sketchfab, providing us access to several million of 3D models. The character augmentation allows us to place a virtual instructor into the room with the students, and pick and place is sort of a 3D quiz mode. Image markers allow us to attach task stations, the diamonds, to specific objects. For example, if you would want a training on an ultrasound machine, you might as well take a photograph of the front blade of the machine, and that allows us then to attach all content relative to this image marker. There are a few more plugins allow us to integrate add-ons. Warnings are supported, providing an interface to ISO hazard and warning signs. At the moment, this does not yet have an editor, soon to come. And drawings provide on the HoloLens a tilt brush 3D whiteboard that allows the teacher to paint in 3D space and replay this then as an animation with some audio to the user. Here is what they look like. A video, image, audio pretty much follows the regular recorder concept that we're familiar from any mobile phone application that uses these. Here is an overview on the glyph augmentations with one highlighter glyph, as we call it, floating in 3D space. Here is a preview of what a ghost track looks like. This is a label where we can activate also this gaze trigger. The visual effects, a 3D model, and the character models. The character models currently support 4 different modes. They support an in position, where the character model stands at a defined location relative to the task station diamond and can talk. The user records simply an audio, which then can be replayed. If chosen, there can also be an animation that is replayed, either repeatedly looping or as a one-off. 2 other modes, however, allow to guide the user to where the action happens, make them follow the character model, following a path, or the other way around, the character model can follow the user, so that the user is instructed to do something or walk somewhere, and the character model just follows around. The AI is an experimental new mode that allows to interface with a fully fledging dialogue that has been written by a natural language processing expert, so that learners can interact in free speech with the character model. Overall, for all the path interaction, the spatial map that scans the environment in real time is used to navigate the character model around and avoid objects. Pick and place is the 3D quiz, which allows us to place little arrows or 3D models in space that then need to be moved by the user into a target location, either as a high-stakes testing without providing feedback, or with a low-stakes testing where the user can see whether it has been placed in the correct location. The image marker works best where you have visually very distinct features, such as this picture, that can be well tracked. You simply take a photo, crop it, and then see and test if the tracking works the way it is supposed to. Once a unit has been created, it can be uploaded to Moodle, pressing the Save and Cloud button. It, however, does not yet roll it out to the users of a specific course, to the learners registered on a specific course. For that, you have to add a new activity or resource, select augmented reality, and then in the coming interface, select which of the uploaded units you have access to you want to actually assign and roll out. Don't forget to hit save. In this interface, it is also possible to do further editing of the learning experience. It's possible to click Edit and then re-upload or download images, modify them, re-upload them, record a new audio, replace the existing one, or even edit the activity or workplace data files to use expert functionality that does not have a visual editor. This was a very brief overview on MirageXR, documenting how the system works, what basic user interface metaphors it uses, the aura, for example, the task station diamond, the list of action steps, and showed how the different augmentations work of the 13 or 14 augmentations that are currently supported depending